ever eaten moldy chocolate?
The tardigrade? I'm Jasmine.
Swear on Satan, I'll do that.
That's my headcanon.
Okay, into it, all of it. I'm Mel's. I love it. Dumb.
Wait a minute.
And if you're watching TV,
I love it. Make sure it's damn fine TV.
This is amazing.
That was awesome. Oh my god. Okay. Telling you to live her alone. I'm Jay.
And watching The Exorcist and thinking of you, I'm Mel's.
Welcome to Damn Fine TV Goes to the Movies.
This time we're chatting all about the 1996 classic slasher film Scream. Let's slice and dice.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is a long time coming.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Like this is one of the first things that we knew about each other that we both loved, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So, I mean, we did cover Five Cream when it came out. And I think we had always planned to go back and revisit things, but now that we know when SCREAMIX, Scream Six Cream, whatever. I think SCREAMIX is the ultimate name though.
I mean, it's our trade. We've trademarked it. It's
Yeah,
ours.
we did steal it from Tyler, my partner, but that's fine.
That's
Everything
fine. He's
he
part
makes
of
up
it.
is now mine.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
yeah, but now that we know when that's actually coming out, I feel like we, got a little bit of a fire under our ass and we're like, we better cover these. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we don't really have like a big structure. We were just hoping to do like kind of a mini episode and just chat about our feelings about these. We're gonna go through all the Scream films at some point. So, when did you last watch it?
Oh gosh, probably 2 months ago.
Oh,
I
okay.
I actually watch this film quite regularly, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize how often I watch it until we started to think about, covering them, and I was like, "Well, I guess I should refresh my memory," and then I was like, "I don't have to refresh my memory. I can probably recite the entire film, like, along with the actors." So, but it is, it wasn't the first scary movie I ever watched, but it was one of the most pivotal because of the time
Yeah.
and like the age I was at. And like I was just getting into horror when I saw Scream for the first time, and it was so fucking amazing. And I really, really loved Kevin Williamson because, he went on to do Dawson's Creek, but he had done some other things. Yeah. So, I really liked him. And so, obviously, love Wes Craven because of Nightmare on Elm Street. So, it was something I knew that I would enjoy. And yeah, I just, it was so, it is to my parents, I believe, what Halloween was for them. It's my Halloween. It's like my generation's, ultimate come back into horror and into the genre. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It gets better every time I watch it. It
It
really does.
does.
And every time I do rewatch it, I'm prepared to say surely my horror palette has grown and expanded so much since the last time I saw it that it won't be as much of a standout. But the more I watch it, the more I realize what a cornerstone of the genre it really is. It's such a it's such a love letter to what came before, and then it's been such a benefactor for what's come after. I feel
Yeah.
like we wouldn't have so many or so much of the slasher genre without Scream. But
Agreed.
you're right, I don't think we have Scream without Halloween.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, every time I watch it, I'm like, "Well, it's not gonna be as good." It's gonna be good, but it's not gonna blow me away, but it kinda does every single time. I mean, the meta commentary still gets me. The jokes get even funnier. I mean, I honestly don't know how that's possible that I can recite Stu's, lovely comic relief and still get such a kick out of it every time, but
Yeah.
it's the truth,
Well, and honestly, it never ages. It's like one of those films that uh like, there's never a moment in rewatching it where I'm like, "Ooh, that didn't age that well." You know what I mean? Like, it still
Right.
holds up. And also, I think probably the more years go by, like, the longer it's been out and, like, the older, at least for me, that I get, there's so much nostalgia that pumps through me when I watch it too, right? It's just like the time period that it came out in was just like the prime of just a culture explosion, like in, for the 90s, and it just hit the mark on all of those, and so that's why I feel like it's so timeless. And I mean, Halloween does the same thing. I feel like it encapsulates the 70s very well, or like the end of the 70s there into the early
Right.
80s. But like for Scream, just it's the fashion, it's the storyline, it's teenagers, and they're seemingly normal, lives, and everything gets turned upside down. It's real family drama and issues, and it tackles just so many things that maybe we get started to see in some of the later 80s slashers, but I don't think it really came through and hit the mark until Scream did it. You know what I mean? In 96. So,
Yes, and now that I have seen more stuff from the 80s, as much as I adore 80s slashers, it was a time of, like, comedy,
yes.
horror comedy. It was a
Right.
time of, like, kind of silliness, but, like, in the best way.
Right.
I wouldn't trade any of that for anything. I think it's, like, just such a fun period in horror, but then you get Scream and it kind of changes everything. I mean, it doesn't introduce the idea of the rules, but it's kind of like that first thing that puts a structure around what everybody had noticed already, that formulaic type thing. And then from there on out, it was like, well, now everybody has to kind of get up to this level and
Right.
you have to do something different. I mean, the classic rules will always work in a slasher just because it's like that classic thing. But I think Scream challenged future films to be like, well, how can we do this differently?
Oh, yeah. They set the bar for sure.
Yeah.
And, the 80s gave us the camp horror. And obviously, well, not just camp as in Jason, but I mean, like, it gave us like campy, just ridiculous horror. And that's great. And that was fitting for that time period. And but when Scream came along, it got back to the roots of, I mean, yeah, it had comedic moments, but it was just full up fucking scary. And also because it wasn't a, I mean, I know Michael Myers is a quote unquote real person, but it wasn't like this mythological, like, this ghost face keeps coming back from the dead type thing. Like, it's a series of, like, it's real people, and then when they
Yes.
don't make it at the end of the movie, like, that's it. Like, Scream 2 is not the same killers, right?
Right.
But, like, you have
Right.
your franchises where it's all Freddy Krueger, it's all Jason, like, this type of thing. Like, this was like a humanizing real, real thing here, and it was very
Yes.
revolutionary. Yeah, because
I
like I
only did that like little side eye because yeah, the ghost faces don't come back, but they like, they live through multiple
Oh,
stabbings,
sure, sure,
gunshots, like
sure.
within the same film. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have to still have that ridiculous horror element, right? Where they should pretty much be dead, but they come back. But they don't make it, like, through the movie,
Right.
so
Yes. Yeah. Which is where they're like following the rules, but then also breaking out of the mold in a certain way.
right.
I love that you said it's so legitimately scary because the opening sequence with Drew Barrymore will never not terrify me. Like, I don't think I'll get to a point where I don't find that terrifying. I mean, the buildup of it all is so good. And then to end it with this girl hanging from a tree with like her guts hanging out. I don't know. There's something like you said, they're real people. There's something very real and serious, even though it does have these moments of comic relief. And I was trying to think, like, we might have talked about this during Five Cream, but there is something very adult about these teenagers that like makes me also feel like, oh, this is real shit.
Yeah.
this isn't a teen slasher movie. This is real adults. But I wonder if that has to do with how young I was the first time I saw it. So, like, I'll always see these people as a little bit older. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, for the story, they were older, quote unquote, than I was, like, when I watched it.
Yeah.
But they did it like, I think it was, like, the real subject matter that each of these people were going through, these characters were going through that made them, like we said, superhuman, but also, like, you think that that's something that a 17, 18-year-old would be, like, dealing with, right? Like, Sydney gets off the school bus, which I still kinda laugh at that because 'cause I'm like, "You're getting off the school bus?" But anyway,
I laughed so hard because I was like, "Look at this 35-year-old woman
I
getting
know,
off the fucking school bus.
I
Is she the
know.
teacher? What is going on?"
But yeah, exactly. But, like, checking her mail, like, you just see these really, like, adult seeming things, but you're like, "Shit, well, I go out and check the mail every day, like, for my mom, when I was in high school." So,
Right.
yeah, it's they just did a really good job of tapping into, normal, quote, unquote, like, kid life during this time, you know?
Mhm. And even the way oh my gosh, Billy and Sydney relationship is portrayed, the sexual pressure from a
Yeah.
boy when you're in high school, I mean, that's so real. And
Mhm.
obviously there's some stuff underlying that where Billy is coming from, but take away all of the horror elements and it's still like, yeah, I think a lot of young girls go through that when they're in high school, this pressure to like not be a virgin anymore. So,
Yeah, also, like, there's no there's I mean, you do have this sex scene with, Sydney and Billy, but you don't see it. So, like, that's also a big turn from, like, the '80s movies and stuff like that because it was
yes.
full of, like, teen kids, doing it and then getting murdered because of it. Like, there was none of that really in here, and so that that not being a focal point to the plot of the film just makes it so much better, in my opinion, because that's when you do take those real aspects of the storyline and it comes through. You know what I mean?
And what a badass move, like, right after you get finished losing your virginity, you're like, "Hey, so who was your one phone call
Yeah.
when you were in jail? What was that about?"
Well,
It would just be,
it
like,
makes
so good if you called me
well, it makes
and
me
made it seem
think
like it
that
wasn't you.
right. It also makes me think that it wasn't great that first time, which felt very
No.
real too,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes. Like,
I
she had some time to be thinking about that question during the very lackluster first time that Billy gave
right.
her.
Well, and that's like I think we talked about this actually maybe when we covered Lovecraft Country because I think Letty like when she lost
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
the haunted house. But I mean like I think we talked about like no matter what anybody tells you, your first time ain't gonna be like fucking rockets and rainbows. And so I just love that, it happened and then it was kind of like, yeah, anyway, so who'd you call from jail? you know?
It's so true. What a shitty thing that we set people up to be like your first time it's gonna be so romantic and like fireworks, it's gotta be with that really important person, which like there's no shade to that.
No, no.
Should have that intimate, vulnerable moment with somebody important, but like it's gonna suck. Do it a first time and be ready to do it again later. Like,
Right, right, right. Like, just go ahead and get that first time out of the way,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then maybe try to set up the rockets and rainbows for, like, 2nd, 3rd, but maybe, like, following times. So
correct. Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right. So what else? Oh, speaking of Billy, while we're on the topic of the beautiful Skeet Ulrich, I really noticed, like, I'm sure every time you rewatch it, you tend to kind of, focus in on a different element or pick up something new or whatever. This time when I rewatched, I was really just sort of drawn to Billy, beyond Skeet Ulrich's angelic yet
Oh,
devilish good looks. Um, but there was something like his choices, his physicality, his even just like the face acting that he does. He walks that line so
mhm.
well of like, is he doing something nefarious? Is he just kind of a shitty boyfriend? What's really happening here? And then there's this moment where it's at the very end pretty much, and he has just finished stabbing Stu, and he turns around to Sydney and like raises his eyebrows like he's so fucking delighted in this moment, and it's just like chef's kiss in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't imagine anybody else being Billy, and that sounds really silly because, like, obviously that this was, like, the role for him, right? But I mean that in the way of, like, the acting choices that he made, it was it was done so well because, like you said, I even will still watch it knowing that Billy and Stu were, like, the killers at the end, and I still will be like, I just don't know. Is this gonna be a time I watch it where I'm like, I think something got crossed here and Billy actually wasn't involved in this. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, like he walks that line, and I don't know if it's because he's so good looking that you just don't want to believe that somebody that good looking would just really, turn out to be a
Right?
psycho, but
Yeah.
it happens.
Mm. It happens a lot in the movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Can we just get an ugly killer for once
Please.
so we can
Just
finally be like,
conventionally pretty. I mean, like that would be fine too. Um, I think if anything, we could watch back Scream and realize that Stu didn't really have it wasn't really involved on a mental level. Was he there? Was he doing the killing? Yes, but he really has no fucking clue what's going on. I don't think I've ever fully realized that on any previous rewatch that like there's that moment when Billy reveals the part about, his mother, Sydney's mom fucking his dad. And I really think Stu, even if he had this information before, he's once again stunned. He's forgotten this. He doesn't know why he's there.
his attention span's not gonna retain that information. Like, that's Stu. Like, you could tell him I think that for him, it was just, like, maybe a fun idea, which, good lord, that's
I know.
like,
Which I think
warning, this
might be
is not a fun
scarier.
idea. Right, like, who's really the more psychopathic
Yes.
one? But, like, obviously, Billy is the brains behind it, and Stu, I guess, just does it for shits and giggles or whatnot, because really what's his motive outside of, like, Billy's got the motive and Stu's just like, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm not doing anything tonight. So I'll go over there and slice up Casey Becker. It's no big deal. Or like whatever,
It could be fun. Let me give it a shot.
I will try it
I
out.
I think there might be people out there that have said this before, but there is a part of me that really does believe Stu is just in love with Billy. And not just on a friendship level, but like an actual romantic level. I think he might be in love with Billy
Well, I
and
mean,
just follows him.
wouldn't surprise me. Because they're obviously you're gonna feel betrayed when your partner in crime does turn around and end up like stabbing you to almost death yourself. But if there was this real big like, it's a little heartbreaking. Matthew Lillard, you have to give it up to him. Like, I love him. He's always gonna be Stu, but like his acting as well when he's like, cut me deep, man, like, but the way he said it, like, it's not just a pain, like a physical pain, but it's also like, hi, excuse me, like, you're not supposed to be hurting me.
Yes, I think the word betrayal is totally on point. Like he just did not see that coming. I mean, Billy is dropping bombs left, right, and center for Stu in that sequence because he's finding out about, the reason behind killing Sydney's mom. Now he's, cutting him too deep. He's feeling woozy.
Oh, his parents are gonna be so mad at
They're
him.
gonna be so mad.
Did you really call the cops?
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, I mean, he might be the scarier of the two because he's
He's
just so
he's the
he
wild
has
card, I think.
I
Yeah.
think that's right. Yes, because you said Billy is the brains. I was gonna say maybe Stu is what do they say? Like the brawn, he's the
Braun.
muscle, whatever. But I think Billy might also just be the muscle and
Mhm.
Stu's the wild card.
Yeah. Stu's
Yeah.
just that guy. I mean, just that for Billy at the right place at the right time. Like he was able to talk him right into doing this, and that's the wild card aspect of it, right? Like,
Yes.
oh gosh. But I mean, it will always remain like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
know,
in
like,
general, like
just in
horror
general.
and in general. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and I love that no, Sydney Prescott's not the first Final Girl, but I love the new adaptation of the Final Girl with Sydney Prescott, and,
Well, she
yeah,
gets to lose her virginity and survive.
right, like,
Yeah.
she's not, Laurie Strode, so and no, like,
Right.
there's no shade to that, like, that's obviously
No.
probably our OG Final Girl, right? But like, she's not a virgin,
I
she
mean, I might fight you on that. I might tell you that it is a girl from Black Christmas, but that might be a
well
discussion for another time.
Okay. Actually, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. No, but I think that they coined maybe Laurie Strode was the first time they started coining the
Oh,
final
yes.
girl
That's yeah.
trope. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they
Oh, yeah.
started getting the model of like, so we need the formula here is a killer and a somewhat innocent, sweet final girl that can be victorious in the end.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And, beyond the, like, losing her virginity and getting to live, there's something there's another layer for Sydney because she's not the only survivor, but she still is the one that we identify with and we say like she's our final girl from Scream when there is Gail and there is Dewey and there is Randy. Like we have these other people that survive and some people really do think Stu is alive. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
can't do that. I'm so
I
sorry.
want to
Like
believe, but I don't know.
I don't wanna put anybody's theories in the toilet. I think everyone it has a valid reason for their takes, but I can't get on board with Stu. Because then what would have been the point of oh, no, excuse me, I'm all wrong. That was Billy's mom in Scream 2. Well, what would have been the point of Amber then or who was Stu's cousin?
Oh, so no, it was Stu's nephew.
Was the one with the Trans Am or whatever, right, that got killed?
Yes, it was
Oh,
Stu's
Amber
sister's.
lived in okay, that's right, but Amber lived in Stu's house.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
So, yeah, but oh, man.
But anyways, point being, there's something extra special in a way about Sydney because she still is the one that gets that like special signifier. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, she's not helpless, and that's
mhm.
really what I like about it. Like, from the jump when she closes the door out, right, and dials 911 through her computer. But, like, even when she's trying to fake out, she's like, "What am I doing?" "I'm picking my nose," and she's like, "Whatever." Like, she never
Yeah.
I don't know, like, she never let it get to her, and I don't know if it was the trauma that she'd had with her family or what, where she was like, I mean, I would not be that way. I'm here to tell everybody right now, I might have a shirt that says "Final Girl." I would never be a final girl, okay?
No, I think we've discussed that we are always the Casey
Ne
Becker.
I would have never like, you think I would've went outside and picked my nose and challenged anybody? No, I would not. I
No.
would've
I
locked
don't even know
myself in
that
the
I'm as
closet.
brave. I don't even know that I'm as brave as Casey Becker. Like, I don't know that I pick
Mhm.
up the phone again. Like, I
D
I think I just
Okay.
start running away. I don't know.
You know what I just thought about? What if the reason our generation would prefer to text is because of Scream? Because I will tell you what, you call me, I'm not answering the phone. You text me, I'll talk to you all day long. I
And
think that this is because
there
of
is a
Scream.
reaction. There is like a heart palpitation, sweating. You're
I'm
like, "Oh
not
my
talking on
gosh."
the phone. No. The last person I saw do that got hung from a tree, so I don't think so.
And let me tell you what, my one friend who does like to talk on the phone only saw Scream early last year for the first time. So
This tracks.
She had never been exposed to the fear of answering the phone. I think we've solved it, and I
You
think
know
we can
what?
all go home.
That was the whole point of this video, was to figure out why are we so afraid to talk on the phone? And here you have
Whew.
it, folks.
That is
It's
why.
no
Yes.
space.
I'm fine with that. That's damn fine canon.
That's standby canon. Yes.
That's it.
Well, I did want to
Yeah.
ask, like, so do you have like a favorite moment or a favorite kill from the movie?
I think, I mean, of course, Casey Becker is super iconic. But I think my favorite kill has to go to Tatum. I mean,
Yeah.
that's also very iconic. And there's something, Tatum isn't helpless either. She just gets put in a kind of helpless situation. And I think her idea of going through who puts a doggy door on a garage, first of all, but let's move past it.
Never seen it. Yeah.
Never seen it before, was special for this film. But I think in her head, she was like, fine, if I can't get this fucking door open, I'm gonna get through here. She's like, I've been working out. I'm tiny enough. Like, I can do this.
Mm-mm-mm.
And then
Wrong.
I do love the effect of when you can see that it's a doll. I just think it's great. I really do. Like, I think in 96, it probably looked fucking amazing.
Right.
And I love every time I see it, looking back and thinking how far we've come. So
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
what about you?
Okay, so yeah, probably I would say Tatum is the one that stuck with me the most outside of Casey, which, because honestly, if you think about it, there aren't like that many deaths. I mean, the principal was off screen, so we didn't even get to see that. You have Casey.
Is it off screen or is it just?
Yeah, so you remember when they left Stu's party because they were like, oh, they just found the principal like hanging from the goalpost.
Yeah, but we see him at the school.
Yeah, well,
remember
right. Yeah, we see him, but we don't actually see like we don't see him get trapped in the doggy door. We don't see him hanging from the tree.
Oh, I see. Like, we don't see like the aftermath or whatever.
Right.
Gotcha.
We just hear the knife like coming out or whatever with him,
Yeah.
right? So I'm gonna be controversial yet brave, and I'm gonna say I really like Kenny's death because there's a line from this film that I find myself when it's raining outside and I have to turn on my windshield wipers. I find myself saying, "Get off my fucking windshield!" But because that is kill. Kenny, I'm sorry, or I love you.
Kenny, I'm so sorry. I love you, but get off my fucking windshield.
That's what I say every time it rains. Just so everyone knows, okay?
Fair. Yeah. I have noticed that I will say, not in my movie, instead of like, not today, Satan. I'll just go, not in my movie.
I love it.
I mean, that's another great moment too, when Randy is there with like the last second, like, watch out, they always come back for one scare, and Sid's like ready to go.
Yeah, not my movie. Oh, I know. And poor Randy, because then like Gail beats him in the head with the cell phone after he's trying to like escape. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole like when she's trying to get out of there and he's like, hey, she beats him with that brick cell phone, and I'm like, this poor kid. Like,
and Sydney leaves him to die with Stu. But I mean, these women are acting. These women are acting like how they should, though.
Yes,
they're being clever. They're doing the right things. They're not trusting people in that moment. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got. I don't know that I have. I mean, there's so many favorite moments. Like, I don't know that I could pick one.
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie is, I think the most pivotal, or I think, no, maybe I shouldn't say pivotal, but something that always really gets me in the nostalgic feel is like after when they go to school the next day and they have found out that Casey was killed, and the way that they're all sitting, outside of the school and they're all talking about it, but it's like, they're laid over the fountain. Like, it's just so high school, and it's so like, also they don't act like it is a big deal. I'm here to tell you right now, if I showed up at school one day and someone was like, the insides were on outside, I would have been like, I'm fucking going home. I am not learning.
Correct. Correct. Why
I'm
are
not
we
eating your
even
stale
here?
candy today at the fountain.
And I do love that there is a generation of people that have seen the meme that is like, look at these children, no cell phones in sight, just enjoying each other's
And
company,
it
and they
screams.
don't know who these people are.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
just, there's something I really love about that.
Well, I mean, there's also that meme, and sometimes I think people are being facetious, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I don't with today's social media, I don't know, but it's like it comes around every Christmas time and it's like, please be on the lookout for these robbers, but it's the wet bandits from Home Alone. And I'm always like, why are you sharing this? These are not real robbers.
I mean, and in like 5 years, there's literally like nobody will know. Nobody will know because I hear less and less people talking about Home Alone every holiday now. So
Yeah,
like,
to be. Oh, but yeah, but whenever I see it pop up, and then I have to check out the person and be like, you know what? Something tells me I don't think that they know what who the wet bandits are, and therefore I think that they're really trying to warn people about these guys that leave your faucets running when they rob your house.
and they're going to be shocked to learn that they eventually become the sticky bandits. So like, they're not going to know what to look for.
They're in disguise now with their feathers. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Why are you dressed like a chicken? All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for watching.
Yes, thank
I
you.
suppose if you'd like more from us, you could always come and check us out on Instagram at Damn Fine TV. You can also find me at Damn Fine Witch.
And you can find me at Superficial Mel's. And then you can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/damnfinetv. We have got 2 tiers and we have got tons of bonus content, exclusives over there. We do hangouts, we have swag, we do a lot of fun stuff over there. So if you're interested, head on over and check us out there too.
Yes. If for some reason this is the first time you're listening and you or I don't know, what I was going to say is that we have 2 tiers now. We've switched things up at Patreon, and the $5 tier has access to like a bunch of our old content that
Yeah.
was never available to lower tiers before. So, lots of fun stuff to check out.
Absolutely. And what is it they
Yeah.
always say? Like, subscribe, hit that bell to get notified. I don't know. I'm
That's
not
me ringing a bell. Ring
I'm
that
not a YouTuber, so I don't know, but
bell.
do all those
I
things.
think you nailed it. I
Oh,
think you
thank
nailed
you.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, on that note, I think that's, all that's left to say is we'll be right back.
Be right back.